So you're semi-retired or nearing retirement, and you want to know, what is it that I can do? Perhaps you've been working a job or a number of jobs your whole life, and you're starting to wonder, wow, I've got a lot of time on my hands. What am I going to do with it? Today's video, we're going to discuss 3 different things that you can, 3 different categories that you can deal with to help you keep busy in your retirement years. We all know that even being healthy is a major part of being older, and we need to keep up on our health, better eating, better exercise, and all that, and even mental health. And even getting outside is great for one's mental health. Right now I'm coming to you from Nova Scotia, and I'm walking on some pretty snowy ground here. You can probably hear it crunching around down there. My name is Kevin, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. It's called Silver Hill. So today's video, as I said, we're going to cover 3 different categories of how to consider what to do when you are semi-retired. And look, I've been so busy I haven't even had a chance to go get a haircut. So I guess that's kind of a good thing. I think one of the things we do tend to think is, just as a bit of preamble here to this video, is I know I struggled with it when I came out of full-time work, and I started thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Your whole identity, I'm not sure if it's the same for women, but it is for men. A lot of your identity is wrapped up into what you do, a lot of your pride, and you spent your lifetime, perhaps 50 years or more, giving your best at, using your brains, your brawn, whatever it was you did to make a buck. So here you are facing retirement, and you may still be have some financial issues, because I mean, it's no surprise these days, the way the current events are going, that you might be in a crisis situation. You might see a few apple trees behind me here. I'm actually walking in an apple orchard. It's a beautiful day. We've got a lot of icy, crispy snow. Let's get on to number 1. Number 1 is one of the things you can consider doing, and it keeps me busy to some degree, is volunteering, looking out for family. And you're going to say, oh, volunteering, that's not the same as having a real job. You know what? I started to learn that you think people care. You spend your whole life and you think everybody's thinking about you. They're not really. They may say something on Facebook. They may say something behind your back. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be someone that wants to build themselves up by saying what you do or don't do isn't important. So number 1 category, what can we do? Well, let's look at our family situation. Do you have children, nephews, nieces, whatever, even brother-in-law, sister-in-law, someone that might have something needed to be done around their house, or perhaps just even visiting for company. I know that's not a big thrilling thing, but the point is here is to stay busy and ignore the thoughts in your head of the validity of what you're doing. Oops, snow's getting a little deep there. And that's so important to mental health, because I know I spent a lot of my years, especially when you're younger, you think, what are they thinking of me? What do they think of my job? Who I am? And it's just little voices in the back of your head. It's not like you talk about it. But those little voices, they can add up and affect your mental health. So what you can do is you can look at your family situation, look at all your connections. I mean, let's face it, a lot of everything comes down to connections. Whether you, sometimes you get a job or something. I don't mean that in a negative way, because I can remember my parents, especially my mom, would say, when I was growing up, oh, it's all who you know, it's all who you know. We all know somebody. I haven't got a lot of friends, I can tell you that. But I've got a couple. And I do know that it does matter. You don't need a lot of friends. You just need 1 or 2 good ones, or some family. And I'm not talking about, interrupting people's lives and getting nosy, and that's it. There's a certain tact to that. You gotta You know, you don't just show up at someone's doorstep and, you know, you can explain, though. You can say, hey, can I have a chat with you? Can I just talk to you? You know, I am struggling with, you know, what's my purpose in life now that I'm semi-retired or retired? Like, what am I going to do with my time? And I've been thinking about that. I'd like to help you fix that, that squeaky door you got there. Maybe we could do that. We'd go for coffee. Maybe not even that. You know, you just use your tact. And another thing I've learned is not to expect too much too soon. When you go to a workaday job and you're there, whether it's 9 to 5 or, you know, midnight to 9 a.m. in the morning, which I've done shifts like that, as soon as you get there, you're most likely going to be involved with some people that you know. You're going to have people around you, probably at least a half a dozen that you're going to come in contact with during your 8 hours of work or whatever. And you're used to that, and you expect that. So I'm not talking about being a full-on extrovert here. If you're an extrovert, yeah, you're going to spend your afternoons in the cafe and doing your thing and talking to everybody who comes in. Frankly, I'm not that kind of guy. I don't point fingers at anybody. I'm more of an introvert, and maybe you are too. But what you can do is start thinking about what you can do for your family. You know, it does get busy. Let me tell you, my mom and dad had owned their own home, a little bit of land around that. When Dad passed away a few years ago, my gracious, dealing with the stuff, you know, that was a lot of work, and it keeps you busy. And maybe it wasn't fun work, and we still have some things we got to clear up there. You know, some things we've got to sell off and that sort of thing. But yeah, you can be busy if you have parents, especially elderly parents. My mom, she's not close. She's not close, but like physically, from where we live, we're at least 2 hours away from where she lives, and that's the reality with a lot of people. Anyways, my first point is look at your family, your current situation, friend. You know, count it a real gift when you just have that small conversation with somebody in the grocery store or whatever. And don't be afraid to be a little bold to ask if you can help volunteer somewhere. Volunteering, I did want to say about my mom was that she keeps me busy even though she's in a nursing home. But it does mean a lot of well, you know, you're talking to the nurses and things, and when things come up, and things are going to come up. Mom's 84 years old and relatively healthy, but the older we get, we know that things do come along. Okay, so yeah, what we want to know is to be a little bold, but also to know, to be prepared that if you're going to volunteer somewhere, if it's going to be an elementary school or a hospital, hey, it's no problem. You contact your local police, whatever, and say, this is my plan. I want to help. I got some extra time on my hands to do something for people. And maybe just do a background check, so something I can take with me to show that I'm a trustworthy person. And because you know, we don't want that. You don't want to get in a situation where you're going to be accused of something you didn't do. And hey, if you're somebody that's kind of an asshole and you want to do something bad, and don't do it. Anyway, number 2 I've been thinking about is what to do with your time. And another option you have is to basically look for some part-time work. You know, it may not be what you expect. You may have had a pretty high office job, and the idea of maybe being a greeter in a store, or cleaning up a park, or some little minor job, delivery service that you can do. You know, maybe it's not the best thing, these little delivery services, you know, where you use your own vehicle, but it's something. And you could probably tell them that you only want to do it 15 hours a week or 20 hours a week. You're going to get a little money come in from that, and that'll help. That'll make you feel better. As shallow as a thing as it is, money does help a person feel better when you do get a little something from it. And also don't expect the same wage you had. This is the key, is when you get older, they've got a glut on the market, and I know the corporations are loving it, that they can get anybody they want. But just think of this. You've got experience, you're loyal, you know you've been around, and you know how to deal with other people. and stay out of fights, because if you're in your 50s or 60s, like myself, I'm in my 60s, you've gained some lifetime wisdom, and you know basically a basic way of handling people and staying out of fights and dealing with customers and whatever it is. You know, you've got some credentials in that area, and life credentials, and that matters, because soft skills, they call them, do matter. A lot of young people, they have the technical hard skills, they know how to do things, maybe computers and stuff, but they may not necessarily have that same finesse that you have, that you've learned. And it's something worth something, you know. But hey, you might be working for minimum wage, but it's something. The key is to keep busy. I don't know about yourself, but I have a lot of time on my hands, on my mind, and my mind tends to go down paths I don't want it to go, thinking about the past, thinking of people dying, thinking what the future is going to be like. You know, stuff like that, it really doesn't do any good whatsoever for you to dwell on those kind of things. So if you keep physically busy, now I'm talking here, you've got decent health. I know you might be in a wheelchair, you might be stay at home in bed, but you know, I've got an 89-year-old aunt, and she can't get around very much anymore. She has a walker, but she is able to get on the phone, and she helps look after my mom, believe it or not. And she can keep up on things, keep up on what the nurses are doing. And yeah, you can keep busy. That's my point. Well, no sense to belabor it. Now we're coming to the third part of what I think, you know, 1, 2, 3, of how to find out what to do with that spare time. And this, to me, is kind of the fun part. Now, you might like volunteering, and there's a certain fun from that. You might like getting out to work, you know, whatever your work is, or was that you did. And that'll bring something too, but you want to have a little fun time too, don't you? You want to be able to do something you really enjoy, and you say, well, what am I going to do with all this time? And maybe you're a rare person that doesn't even need the money. You got it all set up, you figured it all out, you're getting pensions, and you're like, I don't need to work, and I got nobody to look after, so what am I going to do with my time? Well, this is the fun part. Get yourself a piece of paper and a quiet, and maybe think about it first, you know, do a little bit of thinking about this, and then get yourself a piece of paper and mark down, start to list, start to think back. Maybe if your parents are still around, you know, you could ask them a few questions and it might help on this regard. Ask them, what was I like when I was 5 or 6 years old? What was I doing? What was I interested in? Was I drawing? Was I into music? Was I into sports? You know, what were my main interests? What did I do? Was I, you know, what kind of things did I like to do? Myself, I was very, very artistic, and I'm an artist. I'm a part-time artist as well, and I'm sort of getting back into it. I've had some health issues you can see on this channel. You know, it was time I almost died, but it wasn't cancer or anything, fortunately. But I did have some some close calls there. But I keep sinking down in the snow, so I'm just going to stay put. The thing with being at this point in your life, you've had a lot of time to kind of do things, and you look at the different jobs you had. You can list down, what did I like about those jobs? I'm being serious. This all seems like academic or mundane or whatever, but it isn't. You just write it down or talk it into your phone, whatever. Say just, this is a little bit of self-exploration. You know, what things that, like classic horror, like the stuff that goes way back, like even into the 40s. I love that stuff. Anyways, I think maybe this video is long enough. I didn't mean to be too long. I'm not sure if you guys like these long videos, or, you know, you'd rather just have 10-minute one-offs and instead of 20-minute ones, but just leave it in the comments. You guys have any ideas, suggestions? We could start a community here. We could help each other out. There's so many things I think that you can do with your time, and to help others, and to feel better about yourself. And it'll, hey, look, life is short. There's no guarantees what's going to happen next after this one. So, fellas and gals and guys and whatever's your thing, you find a way to take care of yourself and find people that are like you. And hey, all my best to you. And from Silver Hill, from Kevin Cameron, and from all of us that are semi-retired, yeah, my thoughts and my heart goes out to you. And keep up the fight. Don't give up. Things can get better. Things in the news aren't great. Things in the world aren't great. But you do have to take some time and for yourself, and to take some time for your mental health in there. Anyways, guys, that's it from now, and we'll talk to you later, and have a great one. Bye-bye.